Let's start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights here at Summit Point Raceway. Jesus Christ, they went out fast. It's Donny held out for Henriksen, who gained 12 places. Look at this battle around turn 1. Charles Rayford sends it up the inside to take the lead. Andy Fox is going to try and hold it around the outside. Jared Kaler's got the inside just with Germany. Makes it through the middle. Henry Morse takes the win. That's Charles Rayford taking the win. Stephen Kim weaves down the straight and across the line. Donny Alpha Henriksen, half a second clear. Here they go. Can Kieran break late and hold that inside line? There, is he going to have the inside? He tags Ray round and there's a big crash up the front. Hello guys and girls, and welcome back to the Racing Line for the official first round of the Volkswagen Jetta Cup powered by GT Omega. It's season 2. We have made it finally after a driver selection race around Laguna Seca and a media day which you would have seen across YouTube and Twitch last week at Summit Point. We finally made it to round 1 at Tsukuba. Now, I know there's a lot of fans of some of our new graphics, so we'll get this one out the way nice and early after, of course, apologising for the technical issues that made us run slightly over the 20 past 8 start. But this is where we are. We're flying from the UK. This is a hell of a detour, look, going all the way down past Saudi Arabia and all that sorts of other countries, India, Bhutan, across China, all the way over to Japan, over to the east side of Japan to where Tsukuba is. People love the map. We've got a lot of people in chat. It's good to see you all so active so early on. People watching on Twitch, the Racing Line YouTube, and of course our new partners, VCO Esports, over there on their channel as well. It is good to see you all. Please do get involved in chat. I'm seeing all your comments, and of course we'll read out and respond to as much as I can. For example, Rutger Heck says I'm here for the Dutch legend Van der Wood. Carl Smith Racing, go Bob Wallace, lol. F1 Delta is supporting himself. Rookie of the season, he says, self-entitled. Let's go Zero Forks Given, says H Brandon. I'm going to win, says Ryan Smith, confident. Hall Michael Holt Den Pot. I don't know what that means, but hopefully it's not rude. Zero Forks Given are of course rooting for Zero Forks Given. Evening everyone, looking forward to some racing. What's up my nerd, says Cadared as usual. He loves the map, the real star of the TRL streams, he says. Hello TRL, says Sway London. Super excited for round 1 on Twitch. I can see all your comments across all 3 channels, so do get involved and let me know who you're supporting either this week or all the way through. We are at Tsukuba 2K, the full circuit, and just before practice ends I think I should show you this because this is ridiculous. This is absolutely mind-blowing to me. There's only 1 minute left of practice. What you're seeing on your left-hand side of the screen is the current lap times that everyone's been doing. They've had 45 minutes practice. There are currently 31 cars on the grid sat out there driving, basically, that have set times. 0.6 of a second separate those 31 drivers. Madness. That is absolute madness. There are actually 32 drivers. The 32nd driver has just turned up. So it is a full grid here at Tsukuba. Who'd have thought it? I've lost for words. I have lost for words. Half a second. 0.6 of a second is no time at all for these drivers. Might need to turn them down a little bit. Those diesel engines roaring through my ears. Ellen Brown says it's got to be the reigning champ. She is supporting Jake Cranston, who is just leaving the pits. This is season 1 world Jetta champion right here. He's got the number 1 of his car. None of that Lewis Hamilton business. He wants the psychological advantage, get my words out, of having that number 1 on his car. He's taking it, and there he is, driving for Masters of Torque. Again, second season running, in our second season. And, well, he's got his work cut out for him now. He's currently 4th in practice, 1.5 tenths back from Stephen King, last season's championship rival up there, the fastest time. And Chris Smith, I'll tell you what, Chris has found some pace recently, and he is going to be bumping up his stats this season for sure, because he was regularly up there. Bearing in mind we had about 25 all the way through last season, he was regularly finding himself in the top 10. I can't remember if he had the occasional podium. I'm my stats were, well, I've lost my stats page in the kerfuffle getting the stream up, to be honest. I'll find it at some point as we go into qualifying. This is going to be mental. Look, how are they going to find space? The 8 minutes qualifying they've got, it is open. They've got no time. They're fully going out. Some people, Jack Lewin leading the way, an independent driver. Stephen King passing him straight away. He's going to have the clearest air on the track is Stephen King. Where is he? There he is. That's a nice little zoom in. What have we got in chat? What kind of livery is Kayla running? Not the right one is the answer to that. Kakala. Cadared says liveries all look a little off tonight. It is dark. If that's what you mean, Cadared. It started. This is the dawn of Season 2, so it is starting. This race is going to be about 5:30 in the morning in Japan. Of course, we're all racing in our own time zones anyway. But yeah, practice actually started at 4:30, so the track was pitch black, and the sun is currently rising. It didn't matter that Stephen King had clear air, because he has got now cars in front of him already. Or is he letting people through to try and get a little bit of slipstream? I'm sure we will find out. I think for qualifying I might have to put this little track map up just so we can see where the clear air is. That is what the track currently looks like. All of those specs on your screen are Jettas. We will go on board, I think, with someone. I think it has to be Stephen King. He was fastest in practice. He isn't the leader. Let's have a look at what it looks like from his POV. So that is Dan Blake up ahead of him. Andy Fox has already set a lap, so maybe he was first out the pits, as Jerry Agard also sets a lap. There's a bit of contact from someone there. So Stephen King has Dan Blake ahead of him for a little bit of tow. How did I miss these people? So many people came out before Stephen King. That shows how quick their reactions were, and the times they are setting are pure outlap times, really. 1:12 goes fastest. That's 10 seconds off the pace. Realistically, 1:03 is what they're aiming for. This will be a good time. I think we'll stick on board with Stevie, and then I'll introduce this Tsukuba circuit for you guys at home. Actually, clean air for a short bit, says Kakalin. Yeah, there is some clean air out there, which is a shock, being that there's 32 of these Volkswagen Jettas. So turn 1 is a heavy braking zone into a tight hairpin. This is what so there's the dashboard. You want to see that. It looks like it's a little delayed, but they're in 4th gear on the exit of that. Flat out through here. Hard on the brakes for a second hairpin. It's a very hairpinny circuit, if that's a word. Hairpinny. It is. Hairpins tend to be advantage Stevie in our little battles with each other. So is this a Mr. King strong circuit? As Ryan Smith is currently on pole with the 104.1. Joshua Germany only 300ths behind. Whoa, actually, look at those top times, all separated by 300ths. The top 4, a 10th separate the top 5. This is going to be madness. Someone is going to lose out big time, and by a minuscule amount of time, and I'm sure they'll be gutted, as Stephen King is already finishing this lap. As he comes to the final corner, it's a fast sweeping right. Try not to lose the rear end. That lap is out the window. He's going to be gutted about that. That was a big old slide. People are going to come through. That is not going to be a good time. It's not going to be what he wants to see. He crosses the line. Where's it going to put him? He messed it up on the final corner. Only 27th, 1.7 seconds off the pace. It wasn't good enough for anything, as Ika Lequay went fastest. Joshua Germany then passes him and goes fastest again. 103.2 from Joshua Germany, your current pole sitter. Let's go Sam Van Ol, says Gook 008. Here's what I want to show you. We haven't seen this yet. I think I did a teaser of this little graphic that I'm about to show you. Tsukuba 2000 is the track we're racing at this week, the race. Qualifying is 8 minutes long, and we currently have, let's get the time up there in the top left, 4 minutes left. Let's have a look at this. So, Tsukuba 2000 is in Japan. It's 2.04 kilometers, 1.27 miles of pure, thin, narrow circuit with 3 hairpins, 3 sectors, and of course 2 main overtaking zones, really. Turn 1 and turn 8, you can see on your screen. The speed trap approaching turn 9, the final corner, the fastest point of the circuit. There are 9 turns only around this circuit that was established in the 1970s. Turn 4 is going to be a corner to watch as a danger zone. I'm pretty certain that is where most of the incidents, if any, are going to happen. These are some top drivers in these cars, trust me. they are very, very quick as Jack Lewin now takes pole, only 7 thousandths ahead of Morgan Burkhardt with a 103.1. Fastest time I've seen so far. They do practice on Thursdays as well. They have a 2-hour slot on Thursday to practice for this event. Fastest time we saw there was a 102.9. Everybody else was a 103.0 downwards, so the times are looking pretty relevant. 30th place, Jerry Agard, 7/10 off pole position. Stephen King is still down there. Let's have a look at some of these other cars. Morgan Burkhardt for Zero Forks Giving Racing, currently in P2, only 7 thousandths off of pole. Jack Lewin, who is that car right in front of him, the number 29 car right in front of Mr. Lewin. That is where he is. Let's have a look at this. That is their car number. Here we go. Now you can see. So Morgan Burkhardt, number 2, following the number 29. Duncan Murray said he was lacking pace this week. Let's have a quick look at where he is. The South African of the grid, number 33. Can definitely spot him a mile off. Bright white car, South African flag all over it. Van der Wood legend says Twin Heck. So he's got a lot of support, has Van der Wood. A sneaking suspicion that a lot of people are going to vote that man for driver of the day, regardless of how his race goes. Of course, try and vote driver of the day based on what happens in the race. But if you want to support your driver, I can't stop you. That is later on, though. We've got 2 races to go between now and then. Speaking of the format, actually, for those of you new to watching the Volkswagen Jetta Cup, let's go through the format of how it works tonight. 45 minutes practice. They've already done. Check. Moving on. Qualifying 8 minutes. Open track. That's what we're seeing now. 7/10 separate the top 30. In fact, I think Jesus Amundere is currently 31st. Jameson Huffman, so 31st is 8/10 behind. 32nd, 1.7. Jameson Huffman is quite off the pace at the moment, trying to find a late arrival, Jameson Huffman, actually. So he didn't get to practice like the others. Oh, excuse me. Mouth's going dry already. But look at all these orange sectors. No one's really improving. As Jack Lewin, the guy who did set that 102.9 in practice on Thursday, has done it again. He's done a 102.9. Pole position for Jack Lewin. Morgan Burkhardt is 400ths behind. These times are absolutely ridiculous. 102.9 is rapid round here in this car at this time. I'm going to say it. I don't think anyone's going to beat that in the last 30 seconds, to be honest. It's going to be a tall ask. There's the bright blue car of Kieran Dempsey for Meatball Motorsport. There are 8 teams on the grid, which you will get to know over the season, I'm sure. Masters of Torque, the orange cars. Meatball Motorsport, the turquoise cars. You have, of course, got Pulsar Esports as well. It's Mr. King driving for them. You've got ORD just behind. You can see Ryan Smith behind Stephen King there in the ORD car. Lurchus Gaming behind him somewhere. This is a Lurchus Gaming car. Zero Forks Giving, we've seen. Morgan Burkhardt in P2 drives for Zero Forks Giving. And qualifying is over. Wow, wow, wow. Let's have a look at the grid. This is what it looks like. Jack Lewin, the independent driver, number 29, takes pole position with a fascinating time of 102.9. Morgan Burkhardt right behind in P2. Duncan Murray, the man who said he had no pace earlier on, qualifies P3. Christopher Smith for ORD P4 with his newly found rapid pace. Alex van der Wood, the independent, P5. Jake Cranston, last year's champion, the number 1 car, P6. Carl Ridley, one of our Australian drivers for Down Under Sim Esports in P7. Ryan Smith for ORD P8. Jerry Agard and Jared Kaler rounding off your top 10. Dan Blake and Jan Weiswanger finish off the top 12. An excellent qualifying for Jan there in P12. Andy Fox, Kieran Dempsey, Greg Otley, Stephen King round off your top 16. Joshua Germany, Andre Majorek, Austin Farr and Christian Ribeiro round off the top 20. Ika Lequay, Martin Wallace, Dan Thornton and John Bailiff in 24th. That's a shock. 24th place for John Bailiff. Only half a second off of pole position. Madness. You can hear my voice going already. Ray Oliver, the Australian driver, half a tenth off as well in 25th. Henry Morse 26th. Donny Henriksen 27th. Dan Downing 28th. Sebastian Holmichael, Sam Van Olst, Jesus Mundre and Jameson Huffman rounding off the grid. 8/10 separating those top 31. Crazy. I don't know how far back the grid goes. It goes right the way around the final corner. That's Jameson Huffman's point of view from the final turn. But we want to see what happens at the front end of the grid, of course. What is going to be the best view here? That is a okay shot of Mr. Lewin. It's going to go green soon. You've got 15 seconds before the lights come on. And then it is time to go. So this is the calm before the storm, people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights for our sprint race is underway. And I tell you what, Morgan Burkhardt got an absolutely blinding start and is already side by side with Jack Lewin as they head towards turn 1. This is going to be crazy as we see them all come filtering through. Jack Lewin's already slid round. Morgan Burkhardt takes the lead of your sprint race as Duncan Murray's looking at coming through. Look at all of the cars filtering through. There's so many Jettas on track. It's hard to see what is going on. Keep an eye on that timing screen on your left hand side. Peter Ridley says go on. Duncan Murray as they all get checked up into that hairpin at the bottom end of the track, and it looks like everyone makes it through relatively cleanly and no one is currently out of the race as Jack Lewin is now solidly in P2. Chasing down, well, where is Morgan Burkhardt? He's pulled out a hell of a lead. Look how far ahead Morgan is. Duncan Murray goes deep. That was a big mistake from Duncan into that hairpin. He's gone off the track as there is someone spinning round. That is a Lurchus gaming car at the back there who is off track. It's Ika Lequay. Round he goes across the grass. That is damage. It looks like a blown engine. We'll have to look at that. But Morgan Burkhardt absolutely storming away at the start. He's got a 1.6 lead on Jack Lewin already in P2, who's being chased down by Alex van der Wood. Let's see if we can have a look at what happened to Ika Lequay back there. Duncan went off track as well at some point. Can we have a replay as some people are in the pits? This is Duncan Murray inside of Chris Smith. Oh, he gets hit big from behind by Kyle Ridley. That is a potential penalty for the Australian driver as Duncan then struggles to get back on track. Bit more contact with one of the ORDs for Kyle there back there. Ika Lequay, what happened to him? He went off the track as well. Let's have a quick replay of that. He's already got a bit of damage. It's the other Down Under Esports car. Spins around into the wall. That's big contact. And that'll be Sebastian Hallmichael that got collected because I saw him in the pits as well. An unfortunate start to Ika Lequay's Season 2 campaign as it looks like Kieran Dempsey is in the pits and potentially out of the sprint race. Jack Lewin now 1.2 seconds behind your lead. 2 laps into this 14-lap sprint. 14 laps of this craziness. Sebastian Hallmichael 13 seconds off the back of the rest of the field. Jameson Huffman has found a bit of pace now that he's following the big old train. What does it look like from his point of view? Look at all those cars up ahead. It's a little bit juttery on this car back here. Maybe we should have a look at Dan Downing's point of view. So this is what it looks like in 26th place. You can still see an immense amount of Jettas up ahead of him as Dan has had some blinking issues. This is Morgan Burkhardt about to lap Kieran Dempsey, who is now out of the pits. So Kieran's going to need to move out of his way, really. And he does so. This is looking back from Morgan's Zero Forks Given car. Zero Forks Given are going to be loving this. ZFG says Sway London. Let's go, Morgan. A hell of a lead. Love it, says Sway London. So Kieran Dempsey is going to be looking to get out of everyone's way. He is a lap down on this small circuit. This is the back of Kieran's car. That's Jack Lewin in P2 behind. 1.2 seconds behind the leader. Alex van der Wood chasing down. Still a bit of a gap, actually, there. The closest battle at the moment. We need to have a look at Kyle Ridley, because he had a bit of a nightmare of a start, actually, after that contact. A couple of them went into the pits. I didn't actually finish explaining the format. Martin Wallace is up 9 places. 9 places. I'll tell you who's up slightly more. This is the 2 of them. Oh, there is a win it or bin it car round there in the background. Martin Wallace and Henry Morse have made the biggest gains. That is Andy Fox that is out. Let's see what happened to him. Andy Fox, win it or bin it. It's racing Stephen King and Joshua Germany. Joshua Germany. Oh dear. That is not what you want to see. That, I think we'll have to have another look at that. Let's have another quick look. So Andy Fox and Joshua Germany are side by side here. The track naturally comes round to the right-hand side. Oh dear. I think I'll leave that to the audience stewards until we watch that back later. It might be an unfortunate spin but it could be a penalty for Joshua Germany, so we'll come back to that at a later date. That'll be mentioned in the next stream, as just as we cut back to live, Martin Wallace has gone off and he's tumbling down the order. That is another thing that we don't want to see. We said it was going to be hectic round here. It's a short track filled with hairpins. What has happened to Martin Wallace? Did he get hit, or was it by himself? It looks like it's a big old dive for Henry Morse up the inside of turn 1. There was contact there. Martin drifts wide. Oh dear, and just that one little touch wide, Christian Ribeiro comes flying in, secondary contact, and he loses loads of positions just from one little tap wide. That is how close this grid is. Great start to the championships as Kieran Dempsey, meatball in turn 1 after being sandwiched. It is not what we want to see, Kieran. Of course, we can start to fight back throughout. You've got 10 rounds, although there's no drop rounds, 10 rounds to climb those points. Dan Thornton is looking extremely close to passing Sam Van Olst in 24th and 23rd place. Is he going to get it done? It looks like he might do. They're going into turn 1 side by side. Is it turn 1? It's not turn 1, it's the final corner. We don't see moves there very often. He bounces over the curve. They're side by side. Dan Thornton side by side with Sam Van Olst, our Belgian driver, as Sam cuts off his nose to defend into turn 1. And Dan can't quite make the move stick today, but he is all over the back of Sam. So it is... well, let's see what happens. Keep going, Bob. Liz Create says, evening everyone. Turin Hex, top start Alex, 5th to 3rd. There's contact there from Dan and Sam. No, says H. Brandon. Ban Pulses Esports, says Cadared, was just in the way of the leaders, so pulled out. Nah, we like the Pulses crew, says Zero Forks Giving. Of course, there's no favouritism here, as much as people like to say it. Look at this. John Bailiff round the outside of Greg Otley. He's making moves. That was a little cheeky cut to the right time. And that is Austin Farr, I believe, on the inside. Yes, it is. Also going to pass Greg Otley into the final corner. So that was Bailiff round the outside of 8. Austin Farr on the inside of 9, and Greg Otley down 2 places. Let's have a look at the front battle. Jack Lewin is closing that fight. Format. I will get round to the format for our new viewers. 8-minute qualifying we've seen. We're in a 14-lap sprint race right now for half the points of the feature. The laps are depending on the track. It's all based on fuel. They all get 1 gallon of fuel. They will make it to the end in the sprint race. The feature race, they are going to start where they finish in this, apart from the top 12 who get reversed. So if you finished in 12th, that is currently Henry Morse. The 3 Pulsars cars actually together here. Henry Morse, Joshua Germany and Stephen King are currently going to be starting 1st, 2nd and 3rd in the feature race for double points. Interesting tactic. Not sure if that's just their pace or that's what they're planning. Andre Majorek is a very quick independent driver right behind who will be looking for that reverse grid pole for sure. As I said, it's double points for the feature, and it's also pretty much twice the length. It's about 25 minutes, the feature race. There are forced pit stops in that feature race. Not for the sprint, so we won't see any pit stops this round. 14 laps, the cars will make it, but the second race, absolutely not. They will have to pit. No one is allowed to pit before lap 5 unless obviously meatballed and involved in a big crash to make it fair. We don't want to see any of the quickest drivers pitting on lap 1, getting clean air and then running away with it. Speaking of running away with it, Morgan Burkhardt had a hell of a start for Zero Forks Giving Racing, but Jack Lewin is now within half a second. Alex Vanderwood, he'll be quite happy with P3, I reckon. He's 2 seconds back from the lead 2, and he has got Ryan Smith, our youngest driver on the grid, chasing him down. The number 66, 13-year-old, is absolutely hounding for a podium here. Last year's champion is currently in P5 with Kyle Ridley right behind him, who may potentially get a penalty for any incidents earlier in the race, as it did seem like there was a big old contact back there. Dan Blake. This is Dan Blake's first outing, believe it or not, in the Jetta Cup, as he looks like he goes very wide there. Does carry the speed though, so it doesn't look like it's much of an issue. With Jerry Agard right behind him, Jared Kaler, and then followed by the 3 Pulsars boys and Andre Majorek. Speaking of Dan Blake, couldn't make it to driver selection or pre-season. This is his first taste of the Jetta Cup, and he's up in P7. I think he'll be happy with that. I would be. John Bailiff, especially with John Bailiff, a very pacey guy, down in P14 at the moment, with Austin Farr all over the back of that Jetta. In fact, shall we have a look at the back camera of John Bailiff's car? Looks like this. So you can see Austin Farr. Greg Otley's looking to make moves as well with the Lurchus Gaming of Christian Ribeiro. Christian Ribeiro is the highest Lurchus Gaming car on the grid at the moment. So he's having a cracking event, unless I've missed one of them. I haven't. Jesus Amundre is actually 2 places back as Austin tries to go around the outside. Gregory Otley's going to have a look. at the... Oh, well, he couldn't just get the switchback. Jameson Huffman's gone off track, as has Kieran Dempsey. I wonder if they're just moving out the way. Look at the slipstream. Austin going to be pushing him down towards turn 9. Can he go around the outside? It's going to be brave. I'm not sure that can be done around the outside, to be honest, especially not on someone like John. If he can just get the overlap to have the inside for turn 1, it might be okay. These guys are proper fighting for P14. Greg Otley's just going to wait and see what happens as John has a little lock up into turn 1. Behind them, though, Donny Alpha Henriksen is going wheel to wheel with Christian Ribeiro. Alpha Henriksen moves up into P17. Jesus Amundere now is chasing down his teammate, and there is your man Martin Wallace for Zero Forks Given, who was quite high up earlier on. He's now back down in P20 as he hits Jesus into the braking zone of turn 4. More contact follows from behind. I think he's going to let Martin, as one of the kindest drivers on the grid for sure, he's definitely let Jesus have that back after that contact. Ray Oliver going to try and take advantage of that, though, and perhaps look up the inside of turn 8. It's going to be risky. Oh, Martin cuts across his nose, looks up the inside of Jesus. That could have been a hell of a move if that paid off. I'll tell you what, boys, as much as that was feisty, hella clean, no contact on that one. Jesus Mundere, though, still leads this battle in P19. Martin Wallace chasing him down. And Ray Oliver looking to get past. That is Jameson Huffman. That is another Zero Forks Given car. Just hasn't put... It's got the last year's livery on, actually. All Sports Racing were bought out by Zero Forks Given this time round. 23rd place, Sam Van Olst is still being chased down by Dan Thornton. And Chris Smith. Have I forgotten what happened to Chris Smith? Why is he so far down the order? Down 21 places is Christopher Hotel Smith. You'll have to remind me, chat, what happened to old Christopher. Sebastian Hallmichael up 3 places here in 26th place. Duncan Murray is down 24. We saw what happened to him. Ika Lequay's down 7. Jan Weiswanger down 17. Dan Downing's down 2. Andy Fox has lost 18. We saw what happened to him. And Kieran is also down 18. Our biggest gainer now is Henry Morse up 14 places. The number 14 up 14 places in P12. Gotta have a drink. COVID's getting to me. No, we can't joke about COVID. I don't actually have it. Just a bit of a cold. Collected. Must have been meatballed. He had to pit. Did Christopher Smith. That is from Cadared's information in the chat. What is the closest battle right now? Let's have a look at those times on the left-hand side. Jared Kaler chasing down Jerry Agard for P8. This is. Andre Majorek will be looking to get that P12 for the reverse pole. Extremely important. I think Greg's gone off track somewhere back there. Has that hindered him in any way? Donny Henriksen is going to go around the outside of turn 5, that is. There's a bit of contact there. Donny trying to squeeze him out. Aggressive stuff there. Not penalty worthy at all. Now that, feisty, but it's got to be said, that was tough racing. I want to see that again. I want to see that again. I don't know about you guys. I want to see it again. Watch the way Donny does this. So he goes up the inside. Greg goes off. There's a bit of contact there. Greg runs, can't get my words out, a little bit wide. And then Donny holds it around the outside of T5. This gives Greg the inside to T8. But look at Donny. Just moves straight over. Doesn't run Greg off. Does give him the room. But Greg's run is ruined. They get it stopped. There's no contact into turn 8. I'm not saying that's perfectly legal. It was definitely on the edge. But Donny Henriksen absolutely fighting for his life there in P16. Go Masters of Talk, says Paddy008. Supporting from the chat. Good to see you, Paddy. 2 in Hex says, keep the podium, Alex. I mean, Alex is looking fairly comfortable up here. He's not one to buckle under pressure, having raced him before. He's 3.5 seconds behind the lead pair. Ryan Smith, I'm sure it's fair in me saying, is not the most aggressive driver. Not saying he won't pull moves on Alex. He might give it a go if he's close enough. There's only 1 lap to go. We're on our final lap. Morgan Burkhardt has just crossed the line in the final lap. Is he going to lead from start to finish? Jack Lewin is right behind him. Alex van der Wood in P3 and Ryan Smith chasing him down with last year's champion currently in P5. He's going to want to get 1 more position for those extra points, I'm sure. He's definitely raced Ryan a few times. Kyle Ridley is still in P6 currently with Dan Blake for company in P7, who's up 4 places. Jared Kaler still leading this big old train. Can Andre Majorek take advantage of Henry Morse and get that P12? Jesus Christ, hard race but fair racing for me, says 2 in Heck. Yeah, let's go Morgan, 1 more lap. Steward's room will be fun. No, Paddy08. 008, it will not be fun. We need to go and see Morgan Burkhardt. Whereabouts is he on track? They've just exited turn 8, I believe. They're heading down towards the final corner. Jack Lewin and Morgan Burkhardt for Zero Forks Giving Racing on the first official round of the Volkswagen Jetta Cup, powered by GTO Mega this season, and our partners with VCO Esports. Morgan Burkhardt comes around the final corner and takes the sprint race win with Jack Lewin, the pole sitter, in P2. Alex van der Wood is going to come home and take a podium in P3 with Ryan Smith and Jake Cranston behind. Kyle Ridley does come home in P6, but there will be an investigation on him later. Dan Blake P7 and Jared Kaler does lead the train of Jerry Agard, Stephen King, Joshua Germany and Henry Morse across the line. But further back, where is the battles happening? This is still heading down towards turn 9. Ray Oliver can't quite get past Jesus Mundere for P19. Number 19 in P19. We've got a couple of stopped cars there. Oh, the race is over. They have finished racing. The checkered flag's out. I thought they were still all driving. Pulseless train indeed. Nice drive by Morgan. Zero Forks Giving Racing. Spamming the chat with logos. Well, Twitch is currently the most active chat. Where's my YouTube people at? Kieran Dempsey was the last person to comment on YouTube. Don't forget, we're on the Racing Line channel on Twitch and YouTube, and of course VCO Esports. Do join in. Who was your... I mean, it's not spam. We love the Zero Forks Giving Racing logo, really. Who was the driver of that race? There's so many drivers and so much action. This is going to be a hell of a season. I need some water before we look at the results. Oh, sorry if you could hear that. I know that's not a very nice sound. Right. It's 10-minute break. I forgot to mention the 10-minute break earlier. Zero Forks Giving says, we love you guys too. That's kind words on Twitch. 2 and Hex says, well done, Alex. Indeed, well done, Alex. Let's have a look at those results. Here they are, and you can see the points that they would have earned from that sprint race. 14 laps, the sprint race. I believe the feature is 25 from memory. I could be wrong. With a pit stop coming for the feature. And this is your results. Morgan Burkhardt takes the win, half a second ahead of Jack Lewin, who started on pole. 24 points for Morgan and Zero Forks Giving. Congratulations on a win for Zero Forks Giving right off of the bat. In 2 independent drivers actually fill up the rest of the podium. The great British driver of Jack Lewin, 21 points, and your Dutch driver, Alexander van der Wood. For Project Dynamic, I believe is his real sim team. 19 points for him. Ryan Smith for ORD Racing shows that he's still got the consistency after actually pretty much disappearing off the face of the earth. Between Season 1 and Season 2, and then pops right back up when we're about to start. And here he is in P4 with 17 points. Jake Cranston, last year's champion, in P5. Kyle Ridley, P6 at the moment. Dan Blake, P7. Jared Kaler, P8. Jerry Agard, P9. And Stephen King rounding off your top 10. Joshua Germany, P11. Henry Morse, P12. Andre Mayerek, P13. And John Bailiff, P14. Austin Farr, P15. Your final 5-point scorers were Donnie Henriksen, Gregory Otley, Christian Ribeiro, Jesus Amundere, and Ray Oliver, taking your final point for the sprint race. Now, this is a little bit different from last season. As I said, we averaged about 25 drivers last season, which means there was only normally about 5 non-point scorers. This time round, though, it's going to look a little bit like this. Jameson Huffman, Martin Wallace, the 2 Zero Forks Giving cars together on track, but 0 points. Chris Smith, Sam Van Olst, Dan Thornton, Sebastian Hormichael, Duncan Murray, Ika Lequay, Jan Weiswanger, Dan Downing, Andy Fox, and Kieran Dempsey. 0 points for the first round. I mean, someone's got to get 0 points, and it will happen to a lot of people throughout the season. But that is not how they want to kick off their Season 2 of the Volkswagen Jetta Cup, powered by GTO Mega in partnership with VCO Esports. At saying that, though, we're all about fun here. And despite some people leaving this round, probably disappointed, we've got a feature race to go yet, and I'm sure it will change around for some of them. They'll be a much happier people. But the... Oh, no, do you know what? I've just lost track of what I was saying. All just fun and love, says Jerry. The thing is about racing drivers. those that will eventually come out on top after 10 rounds are those that will not get defeated by a poor point scoring round or a non-point scoring round. Although there's no drop rounds this season, speaking from experience, anything can happen in the next 10 rounds. This is round 1. And there can be big swings in the championship. It only takes one incident for one of the big boys to really swing things around. And, of course, there's many different circuits. This is just Tsukuba 2000. Tsukuba 2000. Tu and Heck, we will speak about Driver of the Day later, my friend. I'll tell you what, remind me around lap 20 of the feature race. Excuse me. Loved the sprint race. Good, I'm glad you enjoyed it. It'll pop up on your screens how to vote for Driver of the Day, and that will be most of the way through the feature race to give everyone a good chance of actually earning it, of course. Because you have to say, Morgan Burkhardt was flawless through there, so he was definitely a candidate for it. Biggest gainer, Henry Morse. Similar to Ryan, haven't seen him in a while. Ryan's up there after not seeing him for a while. It's just, it'll be a tough thing to call for the old Driver of the Day, to be honest. Is it just going to be who's got the biggest fans, as we see John Bailiff practicing his pit entry? That is a smart move, as there is a forced pit stop in this race, and it is a weird pit entry. It's tight. There's grass on the entry that if you touch that, it is either going to do one of two things: spin you round to the right into the wall and damage your car. They do get one fast repair, but it's not the point. They will lose time. The other option, and this is what happens most of the time if they touch that grass at the pit entry, it will spit you left onto the racing line of the circuit. So that's going to be definitely one to watch. I said turn 4 was one to watch. I think we saw a lot of the contacts happen there. There was a few contacts at 1 and 8, the overtaking zones, but I'm sure we'll watch the race back and discuss any incidents afterwards. That will be off stream, of course. You don't have to stick around for that. Sweepstake for number of drivers who missed the pit box, says Mr. Berlin in chat. I'm not taking that bet because I'm one of those people that does that all the time. Missing the pit box is very embarrassing, and I can... do you know what? If I'm not taking sweepstakes, I'm guaranteeing that this guy on your screen, Dan Downing, is going to be one of those that misses his pit box. New to the Jetta this season. Found pace. He's not going to be happy with that sprint race. Done very well in the media day. Did change tyres at Seika, and anyone that drives the Jetta knows we don't do that. We don't do dem things here. I can't believe I just said that. Can't believe it. It's been said now. Jared Kaler needs to sort out his livery for next week for sure. It's making the place look untidy. Sam Van Olst, I think he's actually changed his livery every round. This one is probably my favourite one so far. Very Belgian indeed. F1 Delta says he heard that. He is watching the stream on Twitch. Tu and Heck, do we have Pirelli pit strats as well? Do you know what? It's not quite AWS, but you will get something like this pop up in the race. So the answer, realistically, is yes. The Jettas, funnily enough, do run Pirelli tyres. There is a pit strategy overlay, and you will be able to see who's pitted when, etc., etc. Normally, I think whilst we get into the swing of things, I'm probably not going to do an interview in between the sprint and feature, especially since this is round 1 and the drivers are clearly finding their feet. It might be a good time, however, to have a quick show of this, as there is only 1 minute left of the break. The live Volkswagen Cup schedule. Ellen Brown says, Dem Tings, Jack Johns, I'm embarrassed I heard that. I'll be honest, Ellen, I'm embarrassed I said it. But I've got, remember, I'm a school teacher, and that is my excuse. that is what I'm putting it down to. Is being around the children for too long. 1 minute left. The Volkswagen Cup schedule. The round 1, we are here. It's Tsukuba 2000. We then go to the west side of Japan to Okayama. Short. It's going to be a very similar story to this race. Oran Park GP is our first longer track, really, as we fly down to Australia before we have a 1 week break to the European leg. Sam Van Olst getting the pit entry. All types of wrong. Red Bull Ring, followed by Monza Junior, followed by Alton Park, followed by Donington Park. So some reasonably wider circuits. Red Bull Ring and Monza being short ones, Alton and Donington being longer ones. We then go to America for Lime Rock Park, Road Atlanta and Watkins Glen Cup. Lime Rock Park being short, Road Atlanta and Watkins Glen being long and wider circuit. Very slipstreamy Watkins Glen Cup. The finale of Volkswagen Jetta Cup Season 1 and the finale of Season 2 also. And we hope to see all of you guys across all 3 channels return every Monday night. We will be your Monday night entertainment for over the next 12 weeks. There are, of course, 2-week breaks in there within the 10 rounds. Do you know what time it is? It's grid time, and there's only a minute to go through it, so I better speed up. Here we go. Henry Morse, Joshua Germany, Stephen King make it a Pulsus 1, 2, 3. Jerry Agard, Jared Kaler, Dan Blake, Carl Ridley, Jake Cranston, Ryan Smith, and Alex Vanderwood round off your top 10 for the start. And Jack Lewin and Morgan Burkhardt, your leaders of the other race, 11th and 12th. Andre Mayerek, John Bailiff, Austin Farr, Donny Henriksen, Gregory Otley, Christian Ribeiro, Jesus Mundere, Ray Oliver, Jameson Huffman, Martin Wallace, Christopher Smith, and Sam Van Olst round off your top 24. And then at the back of the grid, we have Dan Thornton, Sebastian Hall, Michael Duncan, Murray, Ika LeQuay, Jan Weiswanger, Dan Downing, Andy Fox, and Kieran Dempsey. Oh my God, I've just about got it. It is lights out and away we go. Henry Morse is off. Who got the best start out of this slot? It's hard to see from this camera angle, but the 3 Pulsars cars, how hard are they going to fight each other as they head towards turn 1? They're all in the same team, but they are all also fighting for their own championship. There was some more contact back there already as they head round turn 1. As the Zero Forks trying to squeeze through on Sam Van Olst back there. The Pulsars cars. Oh, Joshua Germany. No, that's Stephen King breaking quite late, getting quite close to Henry Morse, who leads the feature race so far. Turn 4. How clean can it be as they all come filtering through 32 Jettas? I'll tell you what, it's not bad at all. The feature race, normally worse than the sprint, but so far, everyone's surviving. Can they survive turn 8? And can everyone get 1 lap under their belt with no crashes? Here is what turn 8 looks like. Oh, there's another Down Under Sim Esports car making contact there with a Zero Forks Racing car, showing his distaste by the looks of it there. Who is that? That is Austin Farr with Morgan Burkhardt. I'm not surprised, to be honest. Well, 2 American drivers going at it, but not great racing from the 2 of them. The Pulsars boys separated now, no longer battling, but this guy's a wily little fox. Jared Kaler in P4. He will not let them run away with this as we head to turn 1 for the second time. Cool, this view actually gives us a great overview of the 32 cars coming through. I will return to the TV cams at some point, but this at least lets us know what's going on with Jan Weiswanger somehow at the back of the field. How did this happen? So he's overtaken a Lurchus here. He's broken late into turn 9. It's the final corner. He's done it himself. He's on the grass and around he goes. Unfortunate for Jan, he's in the wall. I would like to see him. Yeah, he is carrying on. He's not going to pit. There's no meatball there. As a Masters of Torque car sends it up the inside of the Down Under Sim Esports car. That is Jake Cranston on Kyle Ridley. Up into P6 is Jake Cranston now. Jared Kaler and Jerry Agard next on his list. Jerry might not put up too much of a fight, but Kyle Ridley is going to try and fight Jake back here as they go into turn 9, almost side by side. Look at the sun glinting off these cars. It is sunrise here on the Volkswagen Jetta Cup Season 2, powered by GT Omega in partnership with VCO Esports. I hope you're enjoying it so far. We're on lap 3 of 24. There is a pit stop in this race. What is going to happen as we go further down the field? They're still pretty close. We just caught a big old contact there with Duncan Murray and the meat spool. Oh, he's a spin. Oh, no, that's Andy Fox. It's been collected again. Andy not having the best day for Win It or Bin It. He is going to be probably, and has the right to be, one of the most frustrated drivers of the grid today. That's Martin Wallace as well in the Zero Forks Gibbon car that got caught up in that. Can we have another breakdown of what just happened there? This is earlier on, so this isn't the incident that we've just seen. How did Martin Wallace get caught up in this? Oh, he's gone around the outside of Duncan and just do you know what? He's not going to have damage, but he's been just absolutely parked there by the other 2 cars. That is a shame. Jesus Amundere, currently, well, he's been in the pits before lap 5, so we'll have to see if he actually had a meatball at some point. It looks like Dempsey and Murray are also in. We've seen Murray get involved in an incident. So, likely... Oh, look at this. It's top 10, though. Still quite close. With a little bit of a breakaway from the 2 Win It or Bin It cars back there with Jack Lewin to Austin Farr, who is now past Morgan Burkhardt, the sprint race winner. Doc Apex on YouTube says, let's go, Duncan. This looks so freaking hectic. Love it, says 2 in Heck. Go on, Blake and Lewin, says Biggie Morello on YouTube. Blake and Lewin are currently P11, P10. So they're getting a decent haul of points at the moment. Who's our biggest gainer in our first 4 laps? It's actually Dan Downing. Not hard to do. Down, he started quite far down. He's up 5 places. Dan Thornton is actually up 6 places as he goes round turn 9 now. Was that some more contact I heard as Chris Smith gets passed by Sam Van Nolst? And some people are coming into the pits. I wonder if the contact was with the pit lane. So lap 5 has ticked over. Some people electing to pit already. I wonder where they're going to come out. We need the track map for this because the pit stops could actually put people up down a lap. Come on ORD, says Fionn Smith. Alex up 2 places. Let's go. Who's that coming through? That would be Kieran Dempsey in the Meatball Motorsport car. So, up front, Stephen King in P2. This is what it looks like from the front of Stephen King's Pulsar's car. That is Henry Morse, his teammate. Stephen King finishing P2 in the championship last season. Henry Morse was P3, I believe. Joshua Germany right behind. So if you look from the back of Stephen King's car, that's what it looks like. Jared Kaler, like I said, not letting him go, but that is Cranston making a move on Jared in the background. Has he made that stick? He is on the inside, so Jared and Jake Cranston are going side by side behind Joshua Germany for P4. Jake Cranston is going to want to unsettle this 1-2-3 for the Pulsars Esports boys. He goes round the outside of turn 4. Jared Kaler's on the inside. Are they going to touch? No. Respect from the 2 drivers, still side by side as they head into turn 5. And Jake Cranston gets the move done. Up into P4 is Jake Cranston for Masters of Talk. Cleanly done by both of those boys. Jared Kaler, full respect to him. Can he get it back though around the outside of turn 8? Joshua Germany has been known to wave people through sometimes. I wonder how hard he's going to defend his first... Well, not first podium, but his next podium for a feature race. We're only 6 laps into this feature, but Jake Cranston is looking like he has the pace at the moment as they come flying through turn 9. Jake Cranston up 4 places now into P4 as John Bailiff. Oh, he's passing people who are going into the pits. That's fine. I wonder. So that's Dan Blake and Jerry Agard coming in. Let's have a look at these pit stops. We had bets on people missing their pit box. Are either of these two going to do it? I can't actually see. They're guys. So Jerry Agard hasn't reversed. Dan Blake hasn't had to reverse. Christian Ribeiro pits back there also. Pit stops. We need to have a look at who has pit and who hasn't. That's not the one I wanted. This is the one I wanted. There you go. So on your left-hand side, you can see who's stopped and who hasn't. Jerry Agard has now come into the pits. Jake Cranston right on the back of these boys up the front. Kyle Ridley in another good position here. Chasing down Jared Kaler, being chased down by Alex Vanderwood, who's currently in P7, who's actually sitting quite pretty, Alex Vanderwood. He seems to be not taking it cautious, but taking it nice and safe. And he's going to get points for it. The safer you drive, the better you do. It's simple as that. Simple math racing is as he comes into the pits. I'm curious to see if he misses his pit box. I know there's racing going on, but I've committed to it now. Where's his pit stall? There it is. Does he reverse? No. Stopped perfectly as there's another Lurchus Gaming car in the background. That is Ika Lequay. We haven't seen him for a while as he had a nightmare sprint race. Who's the closest person on track? Andre Mayerex looking close to Ray Oliver as there was contact up ahead. But it looks like everyone survived. No one's tumbled down the order. 2 down under Sim Esports cars. Making a Greg Otley sandwich at the moment. The independent driver of number 93, Andre Mayereck, just watching the 2 up ahead. That's Austin Farr, the lead down under car in this little train. Jake Cranston looking ever closer to Joshua Germany though. Josh is moving over to the inside. Doesn't go to the pits. He's going to go wide here. He's over defended that. Jake Cranston's got a nose into the final corner. This battle round turn 9. Joshua Germany has let Jake Cranston have the inside. Is he going to move over on him down the straight? He does! He gets the move done. He defends to the inside. Nice and sharply done. Jake Cranston round the outside of turn 1. Can he get the overlap on this corner? No. Joshua Germany having a hell of a defence for last year's champion, Jake Cranston, behind. I'll tell you what, that is some of the best driving I've seen from Joshua Germany. Make of that what you will. We've seen him make some poor decisions before. But that, getting his car back in front, getting a good exit, I thought he made a mistake. Jake Cranston in P4 will still be chasing him down. There's people swapping positions back here. That's Alex van der Wood and Jack Lewin. Austin Farr now tumbling down the order. Is that because he's in the pit stops? He has just exited as people come flying round his outside. That's Kieran Dempsey making moves. He was starting near the back because of his earlier sprint race issue. He's got the inside for turn 4. Can he get it done on Austin Farr? It looks fairly easy from this point of view. Is he going to do it? He needs to hold that inside line and then run it out. He's done it. Kieran Dempsey up into 21st, chasing down that final 2 points. Donnie Henriksen is the next man on his list. Everyone from 13th downward has now pit. Jared Kaler leads the pit stoppers. You wanted a Pirelli pit stop strategy. This is what it looks like. So you can see the top 10 still going round. To be fair, we've had some early stoppers. This is interesting. It's thrown up a right curveball this season. There has been some slight changes to how the fuel works, which is why this would have happened. The rule is you can't pit before lap 5. We saw a load of people pit on lap 5. We've seen a few pit before. They may have had meatballs. That will have to get reviewed after the race. Some people tried dragging it out. You can see Weiswanger pitted lap 2. Amundere lap 3. Andy Fox lap 3, we saw him involved in an incident. Dempsey lap 3, Smith lap 4. It will have to get looked at. Christopher Smith actually currently on your screen in 15th place with Dan Blake right behind him and Morgan Burkhardt right behind him. So no slouches. Do you know what? I keep saying no slouches as Jake Cranston is fighting with Joshua Germany again. He's trying to go around the outside of turn 8, I believe. No, turn 1, heading towards turn 4. Now he's going to have the outside for turn 4. He's trying everything he can. Is Josh going to buckle under this pressure? Because Jake is not letting him go. He's all over that bumper. In fact, this will be the best view. Oh, it's getting close with these two. It really is. As Jake tries sending it around the outside again. He's trying to get that overlap. Now, what we've seen with Jake before is just getting that nose in that overlap can sometimes really pit maneuver these Volkswagen Jettas. And that is exactly what Joshua Germany is not going to want. Slightly too much contact on that rear quarter panel will send him round. As Jesus Amundere comes into the pit lane, you can see on the bottom of your screens. Jake Cranston going around the outside of turn 1. Joshua Germany holding the inside line. Needs to get his foot down nice and early. Jake Cranston's got a good exit. Oh, he's got his nose in. This is a brilliant move from Jake Cranston round the outside of turn 1. He's going to have the inside of turn 4 now. And Joshua Germany is going to try and hold it round the outside. Can he keep his nose in? He has! Joshua Germany has the inside for turn 5. Still side by side. Jake Cranston is now going to have the inside for the next corner. They touch as they go round. There's a bit of contact, bit of door banging, and the battle continues. And Joshua Germany has the inside for turn 8. This is all for P3. Jake Cranston, last year's champion, versus Joshua Germany. Side by side for half a lap. He is really... Do you know what? I don't know if he's just trying to show me up. I take it back. That boy has learned how to defend, and he is showing it off right now in this feature race. As Jake Cranston gives up, he comes into the pits. Is that the right call? It's lap 12 of 24. It's the halfway stage of the race. If Jake Cranston has a mega outlap, he could pass Joshua Germany here and then chase down Henry Morse, and then it's up to Josh to get back past. I imagine that Josh is going to want to pit after this lap. I believe they are 3 of the only cars not to pit. Andre Majorek hasn't pitted either. He's now in P4, and Dan Thornton has also not pit. He's now up into P5, up 20, I repeat, 20 places from where he started. I wonder where he's going to come out in the pits. Has this worked for Dan Thornton? Going long on his strategy. Where will he come out? As you can see, the Free Pulses boys heading towards turn 8 on your track map on the right-hand side. What's going on in chat? Sway London says, wow, that'll be with the Jake and Josh battle. A lot of contact there. A lot of contact, but clean contact, if that makes sense. Number 1 got 27 in front of him now. Jake Cranston has not. He does indeed. Well spotted, Kakula. Jake Cranston has Kyle Ridley for Down Under Sim Esports right in front of his nose. Where is Joshua Germany going to come out? I'll tell you what, it's not going to matter because Joshua Germany hasn't pitted. Dan is taking Paddy 008's pit stop strategy of going long. As we say that, he comes into the pits on lap 14. Jake Cranston nearly tried passing Kyle Ridley there. Couldn't quite get it done. As they come sliding round the fast right-hander of turn 9. Just an ever so slight lift down to 5th gear. And then back on the power. Shall we have a look at the old dashboard? It annoys me that it's slightly delayed. But Kyle Ridley takes a hell of a deep line in there. Ah, yes. Jesus with the infamous two-stop strategy. Valdez, you're borderline bully, Jesus Amundere, even though you're one of his supporters. He has stopped twice for some reason, and I do not know why. I wonder if he had another incident, but it has not popped up on my screen. Let's have a look through the incident list, actually. Not yet. I'm not going to cut away from a battle. I do that too often. Jake Cranston shoots to the inside of turn 8. This move looks like a done deal. Has the inside line. Kyle Ridley almost making that too easy. Kyle Ridley new to the season. It was quite common early doors last season that people would let Jake Cranston through knowing that he was slightly quicker, hoping to be pulled along by Jake Cranston, not knowing that he would then just pull away. I'll tell you who has pitted, Henry Morse. Where's he going to come out? This is on board with Jake Cranston, and there is Henry Morse up the road, coming out of the pit exit, and he is fine, but he has got a Lurchus gaming car right in front of him. That will be someone a lap down. That is Jesus Amundere. Jesus two-stop Amundere. ORD, says Liz Creates. You got this. On YouTube. Thank you to everyone currently tuned in on the Racing Line channel. VCO Esports, of course, as well. And, of course, on Twitch. It's looking like a busy one. And, of course, we thank you all for the support. Very, very much. 15 laps of this 24-lap race. Jesus Amundere moves out the way. Stephen King. Joshua Germany's car had just stopped on my track map. He has not crashed. Surely not. What an amateur. What an amateur. Kakula's right. Number 4, Spinarino. Well, that answers that question. Jake Cranston is now going to move up into P3, I believe, because Joshua Germany has binned a team 1-2-3 in the pit entry. Stephen King also pitting here. Henry Morse has gone through. Who else is going to go through? Jake Cranston and Kyle Ridley. Stephen King, off he goes, losing a load of places. That is not what they're going to want. King must have had an issue as well because that was a slow stop. Well, I mean, you can... Oh, 100 messages. Well done, Twitch. Congratulations, you received 100 messages today. That pit entry is terrible. It is a tight pit entry, and it is very tempting to go too fast. Oh, do you know what? That would have been the first team 1-2-3 we'd ever seen. I don't care who does it, whether it's Pulsus or another team. It'd be great to see a team 1-2-3. And it nearly happened at the first round last season. This race is for double points. That is correct, too in heck. Pit road is made for moped, says Kakula. Pulsus bias, not quite Paddy 008. Any team can do it. But it was Pulsus who nearly did it round 1 last season, and they nearly did it this season. But Joshua Germany, after praising him for his defence against last year's champion, bins it in a pit entry. Jake Cranston is now firmly in P2 as there's contact behind. That is just the train effect. They don't want to do that too much. They could damage their engine. Jared Kaler getting a nice load of bumps up the bum. Alex van der Wood right behind. Jack Lewin right behind him. This is still your top. This is all for P4 here, this little train. Amazing stuff. So many cars. Let's have a look at that pit strategy one more time. What is going on? Everyone has pits, so I can get rid of that and see a bit more. So Morse pitted on lap 14. King went an extra lap, pitted lap 15. I wonder if he went too far. And maybe... Well, Joshua Germany pitted lap 15 also, so maybe not. Interesting stuff. And how it's worked out. Let's have a look through the field. Who is fighting for what? Jesus Amundre is probably having the loneliest race back here. I mean, he is actually. I think he's a lap or two down from the next car, which is Duncan Murray. Oh no, Duncan's about 6 seconds up the road, but Duncan is chasing Ika Lequay for P30. These guys are fighting for P30. 6 laps to go. Go Jerry, says Paddy. Wooed up 5 places. This can be a fantastic start to the season indeed. Who has gained the most in this race? It was easy for Kieran Dempsey to do after his nightmare sprint race, but he's currently here in 16th place, up 16 places. How mad is that? He's gained 16 places and he's only in 16th place, but he is getting points. Good on him. Up 11 places is Christopher Smith, a resident favourite in the fans. Sam Van Alster's gone off track. How's that happened? He had a battle with Mr. Thornton back here into turn 8. Big old bump from Dan Thornton. Off goes Sam into the tyre wall. I think Dan's gone off as well. Did Dan go off as a result of that? I mean, it was Dan's fault in this case. Oh, he went off on the inside. Look at that big old train ahead of him. Clumsy there from Thornton, to be honest. But very tight racing across the field, so it would be it was a hell of an ask to ask 32 cars to make it round here with no incidents. Can we have lap time comparisons between the top 2? I believe I can do that somehow. This is your battle for first. Ah, there we go. This is what it looks like then. So Henry Morse and Jake Cranston are your current leaders. And it looks like, to be honest, Morse, well, he was quicker, but he's lost 2 tenths nearly there. It's going to be swapping times all the way through, I think. It is a good point to do this. 20 laps out of 24. We have 4 laps left. And it's time for this to pop up. Vote driver of the day. Hashtag vote in chat. Doesn't matter where you're watching. YouTube on the Racing Line, YouTube on VCO Esports, or Twitch on the Racing Line. All you need to do is put hashtag vote followed by who you want to vote driver of the day. So if you think that Henry Morse deserves it for winning the feature, you put hashtag vote Henry Morse or Morse. If you think Burkhard deserves it for his sprint race win, you put hashtag vote Burkhard. Simple as that. I'll count the votes. Don't vote for yourself, drivers. I mean, they're driving, so they shouldn't be able to. Morse is now looking slower than Jake Cranston on this attempt. It looks like Kyle Ridley's entered the pits again. Let's have a look why. Ooh. I don't know why he's pitting again, but he nearly, very, very nearly went off there. So this is what it looks like then at the top. There's actually a few people in the pits. Dan Downing, Martin Wallace and Carl Ridley are all in the pits again, so I wonder what is going on there. F1 Delta says ridiculous. He's had a right nightmare in his first round. Let's see if we can figure out why. Oh, no, he is just coming into the pits. I wonder if these are drive-thrus from X's. Because I've never seen this many people go into the pits this late into a feature. Or maybe they haven't put enough fuel in. Henry Morse started pulling away from Cranston again. There's 2 laps to go, so they are swapping lap times. There's a down under Sim Esports car up ahead. Oh, Martin hit him. Golden says Jetta going for the fastest lap. He needs it. Take a look at the train from 4th to 12th. I agree. Let's have a look at the train from 4th to 12th. Look at all of these. We need to get rid of all of this stuff. It's not really going to make sense for these guys. Look at this, man. So many Jettas. And your lead Jetta in this is... It's actually third. Jared Kaler is under pressure from Alex van der Wood with 2 laps to go. Jack Lewin in P5, and Stephen King has made his way back up to P6 after a nightmare pit stop. Ryan Smith in ORD, Jerry Agard's there. 2 win it or bin it cars in the top 10. That's 9th and 10th, John Bailiff and Dan Blake. Andy Fox, he's had a hell of a mare for the first round. Just joined. Wow, what a train, says Golden. This is after 23 laps of racing and a pit stop. Alex on 4th, let's go. Spaghetti, says Paddy 008. The spaghetti of Jettas, the spaghetti. The Volkswagen Spaghettis. Here they are. Going round this second to last lap. Into turn 8 they go. P3 to P12. Oh, there was a bit of contact there. That was Morgan Burkhardt on the ORD of Christopher Smith. You might not be amused by that. Henriksen right behind. He's being chased by Greg Otley and Kieran Dempsey. There's so many. Equal is actually the head of the train up here as they enter, the leaders enter the final lap. This is Henry Morse coming into turn 1 with Jake Cranston only 6 tenths behind. Jared Kaler, we've just seen, is heading that big old train of P3. Let's get the double podium, says Tuin Heck. Can Alex van der Wood pass Jared Kaler on the final lap to get a double podium on his first time out? Paddy says let's get some season 1 phrases back in. Toss in the salad. I haven't seen that many people go on the grass today. I suppose we did see Sam do it, but he was helped by Mr. Thornton. This big old train making its way through. The gaps are close. Look at these. There's a number of trains. It's so hard to keep track of everyone. I haven't seen Andre Mayerek in a while. He's down here. Ray Oliver is having a quiet race with his teammate. Jameson Huffman's up ahead. Joshua Germany's actually now down in P16, but your leaders are heading down towards the final corner. We need to have a look at this. They're coming round turn 9. It's the feature race, 24 laps of racing, 1 pit stop, a sprint race before this, and your pole sitter, I believe, Henry Morse, takes a feature race win for round 1 at Tsukuba with Jake Cranston, last year's champion, coming home in P2. Your P3, Jared Kaler, Alex van der Wood, Jack Lewin, they're all fighting. This is going to be tight back here. Look at them all come across the line. Some people still battling. This is Christian Ribeiro in 22nd place coming around turn 9, being hounded by Jan Weiswanger for Meatball Motorsport. Andy Fox, all credit to him, didn't give up. He had a nightmare race, and you got to say, weren't really his fault. Down in 25th place. I can hear loads of crunching now that the race is over. I'm sure the drivers will all be discussing frustrations in chat. Anything that happened that was unfortunate, or not on purpose, but you know what I mean, that could have been avoided, shall we say. But a feature race done. Round 1 under the belts, people. Phoenix Wild says justice for Andy. There's been a few pit salads. Let's get the double podium. 3rd and 4th. Well done, mate. Alex van der Dander. Vote Burkhardt. Indeed. I did not see. I need to scroll up and have a look, actually, at your votes for driver of the day. Let's see, Burkhardt's got 1. Remember to vote. Burkhardt's got 2. Alex has 1. Lewin has 1. Josh Germany has 1. No bias. I kind of agree with the Josh one for the defence, but he messed it up in the pit entry. Let's see who else. Has anyone else got 1? I think that is it. So a couple of 1 voters. Joshua Germany, Lewin, Alex van der Wood, Burkhardt, and Duncan Murray from Peter Ridley again. I'm going to call it. You have got, by the time I get to the end of the results, to get your votes in. Let's have a look at those results. Feature race. Here they are. Oh, that is not what I wanted to happen. They've disappeared. I'm having a bit of a cool down because that's 24 laps. Madness. Absolute madness. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. Who else have we got? So, your results then from the feature race. Henry Morse takes 48 points with a feature race win. Great stuff from Henry. Jake Cranston does find his way back to the top. P2, 42 points. Jared Kaler, P3, takes a podium. Needs to sort out his livery, though. The independent American driver, 38 points. Alex Vanderwood, P4. He's had a great first showing in his first official event for the Volkswagen Jetta Cup, powered by GT Omega, in partnership with VCO Esports. Jack Lewin, P5. Stephen King comes home P6 in the end. I don't think he'll be too dissatisfied with that. Obviously, he would have wanted a second. But with a championship with no drop rounds, you need damage limitation, and I think that's the best he could ask for. I wonder what happened to him. Ryan Smith, P7. Jerry Agard, P8. Dan Blake and John Bailiff round up your top 10. 22 points for the number 22. Morgan Burkhardt comes home in P11. Takes another 20 points. Chris Smith, 12th. Greg Otley, P13. Kieran Dempsey, Joshua Germany, P15. Disappointing for him. Spun in the pit lane entry. Jameson Huffman, Austin Farr, Ray Oliver, Andre Majorek, and Donny Henriksen take your final points of the grid, all the way down to P20. Your non-scorers for today are Dan Thornton, Christian Ribeiro, Jan Weiswanger, Sam Van Olst, Andy Fox, Sebastian Holmichael, Ika Lequay, Carl Ridley, Duncan Murray, and Jesus Mundere, Dan Downing, and Martin Wallace. 5 laps down in the end, I believe, after some contact by the sounds of chat on Twitch. Oh my god. What a round. Round 1 is done. We move on to round 2, which will be at Okayama Short, people. Okayama Short. It is interview time. I've looked at the votes. Jerry's got one. Ridley's got one. It does mean that your driver of the day is, in fact, Morgan Burkhardt for Zero Forks Giving Racing. Thank you for voting in chat, of course. We'll get more votes as we go along the season, I am sure. Morgan Burkhardt, your driver of the day. Let's jump to Discord and get some interviews going. I would like to speak to... I wonder if Morgan is in that chat. He's currently in a chat with Jameson. Let's drag Morgan in to the interview room. Morgan Burkhardt, probably wondering what's going on. He can hear his Discord going off. Need to speak to you, Morgan. You are, congratulations, voted driver of the day. So you've got some fans out there. Heat win in your first official race in Zero Forks Giving colours. Just Jameson now to get that livery on, and you'll look uniform out there. But tell us how you feel. You got your sprint race win, and then P11 in the end for the feature race, but still some decent points. It's crazy out there, isn't it? Yeah, he's definitely shown himself. To a bit of improved, because he had a couple of dives at Seika in the pre-selection event, and then Summit he kind of reined it back in. Oh, hang on a minute. Chat is saying they can't hear you. I'm not going to make you repeat your answer, but can you? Let's see if we can hear you now. Talk now.
Yeah, all right.
I think that is it. So yeah.
Right.
Sorry, guys. I'll very quickly. He said sprint race is hectic. Jack Lewin, very clean driver. That sums up that answer. There we go. We caught him up. It's good to see that you've returned to form, Morgan. You had a couple of unlucky races last season. Can you tell me what that feature race was like from your point of view? You're down in P11. Give us a race rundown. How did it go?
Well, there was a lot that went on. Starting 12th, dropped a spot off the line, I think. There was a lot of argy bargy, door banging, a lot of dive bombs and sends and banging mid corner and dive bombs and a lot of stuff that was a little bit iffy, but understandable given it's lap 1 on a really tight track. So it kind of comes with the game. And then after that, I tried to get the undercut and came out in a train, and I couldn't get within 0.3 of a person. It's just so difficult to pass.
Yeah, it's been shown to be quite it's been quite tough. I just can't believe how close it was. Qualifying was ridiculously close. I can't remember the time exactly, but I'm sure it was like 0.8 between the top 30 or 31. So to come out on top in the sprint race, you must be happy. That's maximum points you could get there. And like you said, P11, not the worst. You still got 20 points in that position. Quite a strong start to your season 2.
Yeah, I'm hoping that I can carry more through the rest of the season. I came out and I did what I wanted to in the sprint race, and I came out and started strong, and hope we can keep the momentum going through the rest of the season.
Of course. Congratulations again, Morgan. As with before I let you go, is there anyone you want to say hello or thank you to before I put you back where you are?
All right. Well, definitely like to thank VCO Esports and the Racing Line for setting up a great league, and my parents for making all of this possible.
Thank you very much, Morgan. Good to speak to you. We'll speak to you soon, hopefully.
Yep, I hope so too.
Oh, there he goes, Morgan Burkhardt out. Jared Kaler has been waiting for us in the interview waiting room, and we can bring him in. He was a strong contender last season. He was definitely in the top 15. He's wearing a very bright race suit, and he's got that silly car he was driving last season that he needs to get fixed. But here he is with a podium in his feature race. How are you feeling, Jared?
Relieved. I was getting a bit of contact from the rear end, and I was getting close to that incident limit, and I was getting pretty concerned. I was 4x away from getting a penalty, and I did not want a penalty considering how well I was running. So I was just kind of holding on and just kind of hoping I wouldn't get another penalty for the last like 5 or 6 laps of that race.
So, in your professional opinion, how many? So you got, I think the incident limit, if I remember correctly, is 24x. So you got 20. How many of those 20 were you doing?
Obviously, I'm gonna go out here and say none of them. I would say maybe one of the 4x's that I got could have been my fault, but I have not looked the replay on that. But I would say the other 16x incident points were not my fault.
All from the rear, of course, and from other people.
All from the rear, of course. Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it is good to see you up there again. You're a strong contender, like I said last season, and it looks like you've got your campaign underway for season 2 also very well. Tell us, in your experience, we just spoke to Morgan as well, obviously a sprint race winner and P11 for him. How does this feel different? Does this feel different to last season? And how does it feel different? Just tell us how you're feeling, because obviously I don't get to race in this as much as I get to watch it and talk over it. And I'm a little bit jealous, to be honest. I would love to know but what it's like. So talk us through it.
I mean, I think it's way, way, way more competitive than last season. I mean, I don't know what the qualifying splits were, but I think we had, 20 people within a second, 25 people within a second for qualifying. I mean, that was just crazy. And I know it's a kind of a shorter track, but still, like, everyone was so competitive. And even, like, in practice, it was just, everyone was so close time-wise. And I think that's just going to keep everyone kind of a bit closer together. Obviously, you have a couple people like Jake that are absolute flyers and know something that no one else knows. But but yeah, I think that midfield pack is going to be really, really tight this year.
It is. It's going to be a tight one. As usual, Jared, before I let you go, congratulations on your podium and your results in round 1. Is there anyone you want to say hello or thank you to before I let you go?
I'd like to thank you for putting this on and putting on season 2, and I'm really excited to see what the rest of the season has in store.
Perfect, Jared. Thank you. Get that livery sorted. We'll speak to you again soon.
Oh man, it's the best one out there. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, we need some sponsors on that.
All right, sounds good.
We'll speak to you later, Jared. Thank you.
See ya.
Jared Kaler there, your P3 for today. We have time for one more interview. I think it's only right that we speak to your feature race winner. We haven't spoken to him in a while. It is Mr. Morse, Henry Morse of Pulsus Esports, the only one in the end, bringing it home for a feature race win. How are you feeling, Henry?
Amazing. Yeah, honestly, very unexpected. I was initially quite concerned about my pace after practice, but then I learned that the first 25 minutes of practice was when everyone set their fast laps, so I wasn't actually too far off. And shout out to my teammates for helping set the fuel strategy so they could tell me what to do and maybe do it or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a great race. I was caught a hell of a lot of lucky breaks in the heat race. I was 3 wide probably 5 separate times on the first lap of that. So unbelievably lucky to make it through all that. And then to find myself in 12th after all the dust had settled. So a combination of luck and patience, I would say.
Yeah, it was looking fairly strong. Well, overall as a team, really. I think it was 10th, 11th, and 12th in the sprint race.
Yeah.
And it was a bit like, well, okay, those guys are starting first, second, and third. I wonder how this is going to go down. As much as people are going to be saying Pulsus bias in the chat, because all 3 of you the replays just start from the beginning of the race, and all 3 of you are obviously together. But it looked like pretty early doors that you guys might have had this sewn up as Jake Cranston was weaving his way through the field. Do you know what happened to the other 2, and how did you not get caught up in that and manage to effectively lead lights to flag? What happened?
I don't know. I haven't watched the replay. I'm assuming an issue with the pit entry. I know a lot of guys were talking in the driver's room just now about how a lot of people either had to abort a pit entry and try a second time, or they went in too hot, or they touched the grass and spun out. It's one of the harder pit entries that we have on this season. So
definitely,
I would have to assume it's somewhere in there. And then also, I know a couple guys put a little too much fuel in, so that could have happened.
We did see we did see Joshua Germany's mishap. Actually, it was a pit entry. He span it on the grass into the wall rather than carrying on the track. But nothing happened like that to you, and you get a load of points for it, so you deserve it. So another one, already a win under your belt, Henry. Congratulations. Is there anyone you want to say hello or thank you to before I let you go?
I just want to say hello to my friends and family who are watching it now or will watch it later. And thank you to you so much for putting this awesome event on and caring about it, taking it pretty seriously. So yeah, that's really cool.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Henry. We'll speak to you again soon, hopefully.
All right. Bye.
There he is, your feature race winner. Henry Morse, that is pretty much all we have time for. Chat, let's have a quick catch up on what you guys are talking about. Got Andre saying bumper cars. It was very bumpy out there. Interview Carl Ridley, find out why he needed to pit. I'll have to speak to Carl in the driver's room after that. In terms of stream time, that is pretty much all we have time for. Don't forget, same time next week. It appears like this. 20th of September, Okayama is next. The short layout. We have been to Okayama Fall before. It was an interesting round. There was some contact there as well. So it's not just small circuits. Okayama Short's going to be an interesting one. I think it's lap time wise probably similar to this one. We'll all find out when we get there. I'm still taking in this event. Thank you all for joining us. Twitch, YouTube, VCO Esports. It's been a massive pleasure. I hope you enjoyed tonight. I'll see you next Monday. That's pretty much it from me. If I don't see you on track this week, then I'll see you next week for the next video here on the Racing Line. Peace.